Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is the mastermind of this entire operation. Of course, he has a great team around him of scouts that we got to meet at the Combine as he was hiding somewhere in a stadium and didn't want to talk to me and Mad Mel. Ladies and gentlemen, the general manager of the Houston Texans, Nick Caserio.
Yeah. How we doing? Thanks for having us. First off, Pat, before I start, just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. We have a bunch of gear here. Everett and Omar, we got some gear we're going to send you. I know you're, you have to pick your poison in the AFC South, but if we send you some gear, we'll see if you actually wear it on the show. I know Ballard might get mad at you, but happy birthday nonetheless.
Hey, I appreciate you, Nick, obviously, and I think I missed a few of your birthdays as well. Happy birthday to you, too, Nick. Happy birthday, Nick. Happy birthday. I appreciate that. I can't wait to see that new H that you guys made, and the new uniforms, lo and behold, are awesome. You know, everything you guys are doing is good. I was hoping maybe you guys would roll out new unis and it'd be like the Denver Broncos situation where everybody's like, those uniforms suck. But no, of course not. Everything's rolling for the Houston Texans. And we just watched the press conference from you and Demeco talking about Cade Stover being your favorite football player in the entire draft. After you have the offseason that you have where you bring in Stefon and Mixon and Danielle Hunter, what is the mindset? Like, are you just trying to add every good player that is available in the world, or how have we kind of pieced this together, and how do you feel about where you are right now with your team?
No, seriously, appreciate the support. We obviously took Cade because he went to Ohio State, but no, nonetheless, we're excited about where the team is. You know, we feel we put ourselves in a position to hopefully be competitive and build on some of the things that we did last year. We also understand that every year is its own entity. Every year is going to be different. And I would say when you look around the AFC South, we're just trying to keep pace with the competition. I think when you look at, what the Colts have done this offseason.
Thank you.
A lot of respect for Chris and Shane, the team they put together. The Titans have done a good job. They made some changes there, brought in Coach Callahan. They drafted some good players. They signed some good players in free agency. And then Jacksonville, I would say they're, kind of kept together what they had, especially offensively, added a few key players. So the league changes every year, and so our job is just try to do the best we can, put the best team together, and give ourselves an opportunity to compete. The margins are very small in this league. I mean, I think we were in 9 or 10 one-score games, so nothing is guaranteed other than an opportunity. So we're just trying to put together as good a team as possible with the right people, have the right mindset, and give ourselves a chance on Sundays.
Yeah, you talk about the 9 or 10 one-score games. I mean, the AFC South Championship came down on one play. So that was in the Loud House, Nick. I don't know if you remember that. Your team earned it, though. Then you get a big-time win in the playoffs. Obviously, young team that has a lot to learn from and grow from and work off of as you go forward. Quarterback and a lot of different weapons that are young. You bring in, though, OG, Stefon Diggs. That was a big deal, big move. Obviously, I was immediately pissed at Brandon Beane for allowing him to go to the AFC South. But when you start thinking about that move, what is it? You want another weapon for CJ Stroud? You want a veteran in the wide receiver room? And did you think about everything that has taken place with Minnesota towards the end? Obviously, Buffalo there seemingly towards the end, even though nobody has said anything outright. Do you think about that as you're making all the moves? We're massive fans of Stefon Diggs, but we've seen kind of how things have maybe gone in a couple places.
Yeah, sure. Every decision that you make, you have to be thoughtful about it and, try to get as much information as possible. And we have a lot of respect for Steph and what he's done over the course of his career. I was asked about this, a few weeks back. And we're not going to judge a player or any individual based on, what may have happened in the past. What we're going to focus on is when the player is here, how does he assimilate to our program? How is he with the rest of the group in the locker room? So Steph's been a really good player for a number of years. He's been very consistent. He's very durable. He's instinctive. He has really good hands. He has position flexibility. And when you look at over the last few years how we've kind of constructed the team, it's kind of a balance of veteran, established players who have come from some winning programs, and then supplement that with some good young players that hopefully get an understanding of what it takes to win in this league by looking at the people next to them in the room. And I would say Steph kind of fits into that category along with some of the other folks that we've added during the offseason.
It feels like Demeco and CJ and Steph and Tank and Nico, like if Dalton, now Cade, and then you bring in Mixon.
Yeah. Laramie, Titus.
Do you need some water before you
ask?
Shut up, Nick. It does feel like, this was the plan? Like, okay, because just a few years ago, I've mentioned it a lot. And it's a compliment to you guys, even though some of your fans don't get it. But when I'm saying it, like the Texans were supposed to be not only a dumpster fire, because that would mean that it would be entertaining to watch because there's a fire happening, just a dumpster, no fire, with trash inside of it for 10 years. And now we're sitting in a situation where it's like, you guys are legit Super Bowl contenders with weapons and great players everywhere. When you were planning a couple years back, did you see it going this way? And is it easier now that you guys have had success to get people to buy in? Like, what is life like now versus maybe like 3 years ago with the Houston Texans?
Yeah, sure. And I think even when I took over, I think the goal was let's just start to make some progress. And we understand nothing's going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort from a number of different people. You have to be disciplined. Quite frankly, you have to have a certain level of mental toughness just to kind of push through to the next thing and focus on what's ahead and not worry about what's happened in the past. So I was fortunate to be in a great program for 20 years where I think some of the things that I learned in that building, hopefully we've been able to apply. You're never guaranteed anything. And I think our vision more than anything else was just to try to put a good solid foundation in place with the right people to give ourselves an opportunity to compete on a consistent basis. And I think as we've kind of pieced it together kind of year by year and different players that have come through the building, I'd say obviously the hiring of Demeco was a key part of this as well. I'm biased, but he's one of the best coaches in the league, period. I don't think anybody could argue that. So I think when you start to add some of those elements in place, and then we've added a number of young players over the last few years. CJ and Will performed at a really high level. So, we're very fortunate and we're excited about what's in front of us, but we also understand the challenges that are ahead, which are significant, and we're certainly not going to take anything for granted.
Okay, well, I'm happy for you, Nick.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm happy for you, Nick. Genuinely, it's awesome to see because the fans down there. And JJ got all mad when we showed a photo at the beginning of the year. But then you look at the end of the year, like the fans down there, I've always said it, loudest stadium I ever played in. Every single time we went down there was for an AFC South championship. It was always a primetime game. That city loves football. So now that there's a team that's like easily lovable, it's great for the NFL and for football as a whole. So I am genuinely happy. Demeco, though, you mentioned that. Former player there. Now he's back as a head coach. And obviously he just picks it. Just no problem. Yeah, supposed to be a head coach. Greatest rookie quarterback season in the history. Obviously, none of that credit goes to the head coach managing it all and figuring it out. No. Will Anderson comes in as a rookie, takes over. Obviously, shouldn't give the defensive head coach any credit at all for this. Why has Demeco done so well? And what have you seen from him this offseason? It's maybe different from whenever he first got the gig.
Yeah, I think, and I've said this from the beginning, Demeco is just so consistent day to day. He has his core philosophies and beliefs, what's important to him, and the way he messages that to the team is so consistent. Everybody understands what the expectation is on a day-to-day basis. I think I'm certainly appreciative of the relationship that we've established here over the last however many months it's been. Philosophically, we see football through the same lens, so that helps as we're putting the team together. We espouse a lot of the same philosophies and have a lot of the same core beliefs. So my job and my seat is just support him as much as possible and do everything I can to give him an opportunity to be successful. But the players respect the hell out of him because he's so real. He's passionate about what he does. He does it with enthusiasm. And it's the same expectation that we have for the players as well.
He's got that massive smile.
Oh, yeah.
Handsome guy.
He loves what he's doing.
Yeah,
he loves what he's doing.
Which
is it's important. It absolutely makes a difference. The players feel that and they see that.
And if you love what you're doing, you also do all the extra shit because it's not shit. It's just like a part of it, and I'm not saying that that's abnormal for a head coach in the NFL, but when you can feel that, it is something that spreads. They talk about, obviously it's nowhere near as serious, but when you bring a cancer into the locker room, the reason why it's described as cancer is because it starts as a small cell, one person, and then it spreads and spreads and spreads and takes over everything. Normally that gets chatted about. They don't talk about the other side of this entire thing. When you drop an energy giver into a room, that thing spreads as well. It feels like Demeco is one of them, and you have that entirely in your building. Is that a good observation from outside in?
Absolutely, Pat. No energy vampires are allowed. And Demeco has talked about that to the team. We don't have a lot of team rules. One is protect the team, and number two, it's no energy vampires. So just come in, have the right mindset, have the right attitude, be consistent day to day with your performance. The coaches are going to give you the best that they have. In turn, that's all we expect as the players, for them to give them our best. And we've seen that with the start of the offseason program here. We have, just about everybody here participating. So it's about work and it's about improvement. And that's what the focus is here over the next few months.
We're all lucky to be here. I think that's a nice little reminder sometimes. Mid-season, start hitting that wall. It's like, hey, you don't have to be here. You can go shovel shit.
Fun.
You can go do that entire thing. We're lucky to be here. Last question from me before the boys have some pies on. Well, I guess I'll have two, but this one football related. Don't you think, in protest of nobody hiring Slowick as a head coach, you should maybe not let him coach this year, just because the NFL is screwing this guy? He should be a head coach somewhere. He's not supposed to be back with C.J. Stroud. He's supposed to be gone. You guys need to take a stand. Don't let that man on the sideline for the good of football.
We'll lock him in his office, I guess, and not let him call plays. But
perfect.
All right,
perfect.
Deal. Write it down.
Deal. I like just 2 games a year. 2 games a year. Yep. I think you should take a protest. Make it the Indianapolis Colts. You obviously assumed he was gone. I assume everybody did down there.
Well, you never know. I mean, Bobby is a bright coach. He's very well respected. He interviewed for multiple teams, and deservedly so. I mean, Bobby's going to be a head coach here at some point. So we're just grateful that we have him for another year, for however long it is. And it's great to work with Slow and the rest of the offensive staff and the coaching staff on a day-to-day basis.
All right, let's talk about your hoodie. You were happy that he finished his story? Is that what you were happy that our tribal?
I just thought, on the heels of WrestleMania, and then you had McIntyre on yesterday, I just felt it might be appropriate to don this gear. So I figured I would wear. I was going to wear it for my pre-draft press conference, but Omar probably looked at me like, you probably can't do that. So, but it's more appropriate on this show, so I figured I would wear it for you.
Oh, that's a massive honor and a compliment to our show for you to say what you just said. And I would assume the NFL would have some questions too. Hey, don't we have new hoodies? Don't we have some new merch we're looking for? Did you watch that? Did you see that? Hey, obviously it was 2 nights in Philly. You're very busy. It's draft season, but you're talking, I mean, Cena, Undertaker, Roman.
I
Seth.
saw the clips. I went back. I went online and I saw the clips after. I mean, it looked like a phenomenal event. I mean, and WWE, Triple H, you all do it. You do it great. You do it well. There's just something about when you hear the Undertaker, like when you just hear the sound, like literally, and it's funny. So not too many GMs have a walk-up music, I guess, but when I go on the local 610 program with Pendergast and Payne, they played DX. So we've played that introduction, the D-Generation X theme song. So they changed it yesterday, The Undertaker. I'm not really sure why, but that was the intro yesterday. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm a big fan. I'm an unabashed supporter. I'm not going to hide it. So I enjoy it when I can get it. Specifically to WrestleMania, I just went to the website and just tried to watch the clips, but it just looked like a tremendous environment.
Yeah, really, and congrats to Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
American Nightmare. Finish the story, Nick. Finish the story. I think pregame, you go down to the field, right? You walk?
I'm down on the field before the game, yep.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, gonna have to.
You know, because we need, when you make your entrance, stadium's probably, what, a quarter full?
Yeah, I mean,
at that time.
There's not many people there very early.
Yeah, we need lights down.
The whoa.
Break it down. I mean, you want Cody Rhodes?
I'm just saying the whoa could easily be turned to Casario.
Oh, you guys are great.
Casario! Yeah, you could definitely. Yeah. All right, good call.
Pretty sweet.
That's sweet.
Tell Pendergrass to do.
I need some work, but yeah, we'll work.
No, it was good.
Need some work. Hey, go to hell, bub. We're a finished product. Hell, you're trying to build your roster down there. We already got it. Okay, geez, Louise. I do love that you're a wrestling fan, though, and it makes sense. That's why, I assume at the beginning, before we knew each other, when we were talking shit, wrestling fans are like, wow, this is just
A little back and forth.
It's the way this goes. We're thankful that you continue to come on our program. You're building a monster down there, and I hate it, but it has to be wonderful for all the people in Houston. Connor's got a question for you, Nick.
Yeah, Nick, you also helped build a monster in New England, and I was going to actually thank you for all those Super Bowls, but kind of like Pat said, we acknowledge our tribal chief here. One thing that Bill Belichick mentioned to us while we were doing the draft coverage is that when they were, picking guys in New England, a lot of the times, absolutely, you want the rookies to come in and, be great right away and be the guys that you want them to be as a rookie, but also knowing like, hey, we're drafting this guy for what he will be, year 2, year 3. Is that a philosophy that you guys also use in Houston, or is that something where, you expect to draft CJ Strouds at every position and them to come in and be incredible right away?
No, I think the point that Bill made is very relevant. I think the most important thing that any rookie can do is just come in with the right mindset, be a good teammate, have a good attitude, and just continually improve. And whatever their timetable is, some get on the field quicker than others. Some it may take a little bit longer, but you're never going to pigeonhole a player or say, well, this player's not going to play until week 10, or he's not going to play until next year. So all younger players and a lot of college players, they're all developmental players. The reality is they're all starting from ground zero when they walk in whatever team drafted them building. So the big thing is, are you a good teammate? Do you have a good attitude? Do you have a good work ethic? Do you have the right mindset? Are you going to improve? And then it's the coach's job and it's our responsibility to provide the resources to the player, make them available so that they can improve and optimize their performance when they actually have the opportunity to step on the field and play. So, again, a lot of what I learned, I owe a debt of gratitude to Coach Belichick. I know you have the good fortune of having him on here on it sounds like a regular basis.
Great fortune,
I'm sure the draft coverage was incredible, which anything that Bill does, he's great at, and I'm certainly grateful for the opportunities that he's provided for me. And he's a big reason why I'm sitting in the chair that I am here today.
He smiled, He smiled, told stories. He was affable.
Funny.
Kind of
charming.
I mean, it was 4.5 hours. He did go to the bathroom, which is weird. That's the first time I've seen him go to the bathroom.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
he might have the best bladder in town, or he's peeing directly into a bag already ahead of everybody.
I bet Nick knows, actually.
Yeah, Nick, can you tell us that? Is he peeing into a bag?
I don't have any intel on that. I can't comment on that.
First time we had dinner, it was like 3.5, 4 hours in his back room. I peed 4 times because I was hammering Jack and Diets. He was drinking some specialty cocktail. He didn't pee once. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
We had some long staff meetings, that's for sure. I do remember those.
Oh, that's him alphaing.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys got to pee, huh? Peeing's for the weak.
That's the MacBook when the MacBook comes
It's
out.
amazing. Tone has a question for you, Nick.
Yeah, Nick, I just heard a lie when you just said I'm sure his draft coverage was great because you weren't doing anything on Thursday night, so I assumed you were watching the spectacular. So thank you for
thanks,
watching.
Nick.
Thank you for watching that. But in regards to that, obviously I assume it wasn't as hard because you got Will Anderson with this year's pick. But how is it for a GM that doesn't have a pick on night one? Is it a lot of just seeing how the board falls and seeing if you want to get back into that first round, or did you have a plan going into night one on potentially what you guys wanted to do?
No, you've articulated it very well. It's even if when you don't have a pick, you're always prepared for an opportunity if it presents itself. And honestly, we were probably as busy Thursday night than maybe we were last year, because once we traded up last year from 12 to 3 to pick Will, we were essentially done for the night. So this year, it was a little bit different circumstance and situation. We were at 42 initially. If there was an opportunity to maybe get back into the bottom of the round, that's part of my responsibility is to entertain those ideas. And if it presents itself, great. If it doesn't, then so be it. Then you're prepared to pick the next day. So I would say we've kind of been on both. I've been on both ends of the spectrum. We picked high last year. I think in New England, our highest pick the one year when I was there was Gerard Mayo. We were at 7, moved back to 10. But then there were plenty of years where we were kind of at the bottom and then we moved out. I want to say it was 09. I think we moved out of the first round completely and we ended up stockpiling 4 second-round picks. So you're always prepared if an opportunity does present itself, and you're going to make calls and be proactive because you really never know what's going to come about unless you actually entertain it and actually investigate it.
Yeah, 09 draft was a big one. That's where legends were born. Mm-hmm. Did you guys have any punter grades or kicking grades up there in New England in 09?
We spend as much time on a kicking game as probably any team in the league. So my guess is, and you probably have talked to him, I'm sure he evaluated you, Pat. He knew
Pat, you
your stats and everything coming out. There's no question.
Yeah, you're gonna have to prove a little bit to me in the NFL, Pat. You're gonna have to. Yeah, we heard about Morgantown.
Yeah,
I've done Morgantown 2 nights. I've heard about you. Yeah, there's no way now is the time to draft. You're gonna have to prove yourself, and he was right. He was absolutely right, Nick. Now, what are you in right now? What time is, what are we doing right now?
Yeah, just kind of transition, cleaning up some things here from last weekend, kind of going through a kind of a draft recap, kind of analysis, who ended up going where, some of the studies that we do. And then looking at maybe where we are roster-wise. We're full right now, but you've seen some movement league-wide. So we'll kind of transition. We're in phase 2 right now, so the players have been here in the offseason program. So it's probably a hodgepodge of things, but we also have our eyes on 2025 as well. We'll kind of start some of that spring prep, some of that spring work, just familiarizing ourselves with some of those prospects. So it's probably not as breakneck, but there's enough that goes on a day-to-day basis to keep us busy for sure.
Yeah, arbitrarily watching film on somebody that's never going to make it in the NFL. I love it. Yep, a lot of those. Bean told us about, now's the time to also figure out your scouting department, because everybody normally makes the scouting department moves after the draft. It's kind of just like an understood thing across the league. It's like, let's get through a draft cycle and then we figure it out. Is that true? And what does that look like? Are you thinking about other people from other places? People are talking to you about your people? How does that go amongst the GM?
Yeah, Pat, it's all that. I would say it's kind of case by case. I would say when you look at, there was some front office general manager movement back in January, February. AP was hired. There was some change. So there's some movement that takes place at that time, because if you're a new GM, you're trying to get kind of your staff in place. But by the same token, you're probably cognizant that somebody's not going to be available until after the draft, because a lot of those contracts go through May or June. So there'll be some movement on the front office, in the front office area. So, if you have a spot, or if you have a hole, or you're somebody that you're trying to replace, then you'll spend time looking at those opportunities and situations. Yep, that's kind of what goes on this time of year for sure.
We got an English football suit we're thinking of. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Nick, if I'm not mistaken, J.J. Watt is currently boots on the ground in Houston for his charity softball game. Now, last year on the show, he didn't exactly say it, but he basically said that he'd come out of retirement for another run with the Houston Texans. Now, I understand you guys signed Danielle Hunter this offseason, but it's out there. Is that something you'd be willing to maybe kind of kick the tires on and say, hey, JJ, let's bring you back in. Let's win a Super Bowl this year.
1 year, $35 million.
Boom. Fully guaranteed.
Need it.
Yep.
Up front, actually. Mm-hmm. So you can do some salary cap gymnastics with it. We need them. What is your conversation relationship like with JJ?
Yeah, I think JJ's focused on softball. No, I have a lot of respect and appreciation for JJ. When I took the job in February of 21, he was one of the first players that I actually spoke to. So certainly respectful of JJ, his career, what he's done for the organization, what he's done for the city of Houston. I'm not going to speak for him about what he wants to do relative to playing football. I'll let him disclose that on your show. But
pretty much already did.
Hey, what's everybody is talking around this?
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's weird.
Everybody, Demeco.
It's May. It's very early. It's May. The season doesn't start until September.
You're right.
And then you look at players end up October, November. So case by case. So between him and Brady, we'll see who jumps back in first.
How about Tom sitting in that barber's chair? Did you see these clips? Do you watch the clips?
I have not. I don't want to comment on something I haven't seen.
So he's with his guy, Vic Blends, I think is the name of the show. And Vic is the barber. And he's just sitting there getting his hair cut. It's like, yeah, maybe. We'll get back there. It's like, what? That's a massive piece of news right there. Is he just bullshitting for Vic, or is it real? It's like, with the right offer, feels like, especially with where Houston's headed, what if J.J. Watt's back on the damn floor?
Yeah. Why not?
All right, he's in great shape. He's about to get his ass kicked in the soccer tournament. I assume he's going to do great at his softball game tonight, where he's raising – how much did he raise in that, $43 million or something for Houston?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What a legend down there.
Not with the Hurricane. No, nobody was more of an ambassador for the city and for raising funds for people in need than JJ was. That's why he's so revered in the city, and that's why he always has an open door, both organizationally and the city. So he's earned that, and he absolutely deserves it.
What a weapon. Just like you down there. They're going to love Nick Caserio when it's all said and done, I do believe. And up here in Indy, we hate you. So I hope you're happy, Nick. Hope you're happy. Hope it's worth it, pal. We appreciate the hell out of you, man.
Thanks, fellas. Always appreciate the opportunity to visit with you.
That's right.
Do you want to put your ones up, Nick, or what?
Acknowledge him.
Oh, we're acknowledging. Sorry.
That's right.
I like that.
Boom.
I like what you did. You played defense. That was very Tone Diggsy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was right because you got the hoodie on.
But still.
Also,
Yep.
You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick
fellas,
Casario,
thank
thank you,
you.
man.
Yeah,